So excited to be here with you all today. I'm Dr. Gina Anderson. I'm the CEO of Luma Brighter Learning. I am a passionate believer that the small actions in every day can spark extraordinary change. If you'd like to learn more about my work in learning science, visit lumabrighterlearning.com. This is one of the final episodes of this season, actually. This is my season called The Power of Small, where I explore tiny habits and small mindset shifts that can change every moment in our life to lead to powerful transformations. If you like the conversations that we have on this, please share the podcast, like it, comment, because we want to reach everyone in the transportation and logistic industry and beyond that's struggling. And we would love for you to join us. And today I am beyond grateful for my two guests. And they are here with me today. And together we are going to share how small change can make such a big impact. So first, I have Rachel Swanson on. She's an analytics enthusiastic mindset leader and culture builder who believes in putting humans first. She's passionate about data and strategy. She grows brands to create meaningful connections where workplaces feel and people feel more empowered to thrive. I am so excited to have her because she centers on helping others grow. She fosters authentic leadership and relationships, and she creates impact with integrity and heart. And then next to her is Shea Happ, and she is actually the local recruiting manager at one of my favorite organizations, Forward Air Corporation, with nearly 8 years of experience. And she actually helps attract talent, and she helps develop talent, and she helps retain talent. And she understands firsthand how these small moments of connection really help us build and shape career and shape your culture. So together we're going to explore how all of these small moments influence engagement and retention. Thank you so much for joining me today. Why don't you both, I'll start with Rachel and then we'll go to Shea. Rachel, share with us a little bit about your passion and what drives you to do that work every day. And then Shea can chime in as well.
Yeah. Hey, first off, thank you for having me, Gina. And I'm super excited for joining. And thanks for everyone just for listening in and everyone that took the time today just to join. Rachel Swanson, like Gina said, really what drives me is I'm a people first leader. Like Gina said, I'm a mom, but I'm someone that loves to learn and someone that has been very passionate about growth myself, personally and professionally. So in life, I've gone through a lot. I always say, you know, I've lived a million lives, I feel like. But my son has always been my biggest drive and my motivation. My oldest son, I lost his dad in a car accident when I was expecting him. And I made this promise to myself a long time ago that I was going to give us a life that him and I both deserved. And that promise really became my fuel. And it really taught me resilience. It gave me perspective, and just the importance of showing up every single day, even when life feels incredibly hard. So I've always told myself, be 1% better than the person that I was yesterday, and hopefully pass that on to somebody else and grow the team. Like we talk about retention and we talk about, you know, building people in teams and culture, and, you know, grow the team to also have that same mindset, but to pour into the cups of others around me.
I love that. Thank you for sharing that. I love that. It's so important. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you're on my podcast. Shea, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yeah, so again, thank you so much. We're so excited to be on here. So Shea Happ, I've been a part of Forward for the last 8 years. I've been kind of all over the place within the recruiting department, but I have landed in managing. So I manage our local side of things. So our local pickup and delivery division, as well as our local intermodal division. Been a part of that for the last 2 to 3 years now. For me, passion for me has always been kind of just internal drive for me, right? Always becoming better than I was the day before. Growing into a leader, passion is now taking that internal drive and pouring that into my people, right? Pouring their cups and seeing them grow and be the best version of themselves that they can be.
Oh my
right?
gosh, I love that. It's such a giving mentality.
Yes.
We can be going through something so hard in our lives, and we can use that fuel to be able to give to other people. And I think that's so important. Rachel, you mentioned probably what you were going to share, but I think about these moments in our lives that have happened or we go through that changed everything for us and gave us a new perspective. Do you want to share something and maybe how that changed everything to you and how you stepped forward in life?
Yeah. So I think for me, one big, obviously, thing in my life that changed my perspective was the car accident.
Mm,
So from that point forward, I was a young mom. I was in college. It wasn't ideal, obviously, but
mm,
one thing that really changed my perspective wasn't necessarily a person
mm,
or that accident, yes, you can say was the thing that changed my perspective, but it was actually small moments. And we talk about the little things that it takes. I
mhm,
don't think that it has to take a monumental shift or a
mm,
change. It can be the little things that people remind you of or
mm,
make you just kind of sit back and think. And one moment that really resonates and stuck out to me is I had a soccer coach, a soccer GA, when I was going through just that really hard season of life. And she took the time to just write me this personal note. And
love
again,
that.
it was a time where I felt, I wasn't strong, that I
Mm,
was lost in a room, even though it
mm,
was a room full of crowded people, right? I felt so alone.
mm,
Um, and she took the time to write me a note of just, you can do this. But she also gave me what I call this little survival kit. And the accident was 14 years ago. And
mm.
14 years later, I still have her note. But what she
Wow.
also included in this note
Mm.
were just these little tokens. And she gave me
Oh,
a penny, a rubber band, a safety pin, a string, a button, a eraser, a paper clip, and a Hershey Kiss. Today, I still have everything except the Hershey Kiss because I ate that.
yeah.
But
Mm,
she wrote a little note with everything, and it was the pennies, just to remind yourself that you'll never be broke. A rubber band will always remind you to stay flexible when things don't always go
mm,
as planned, because we know that's going to happen in life. The safety pin will always make sure that you hold things together. The
mm,
string is just the remembrance that you're always going to be connected and that someone always cares about you. The button is
mm.
that you'll always be buttoned up, right? The
Oh,
eraser is that it's okay to make mistakes.
yeah.
And the paper clip holds you all together. And then the Hershey Kiss was that everyone needs just a little bit of love and encouragement throughout the way.
Oh,
And that is truly when I say I took those simple items and I've
mm,
taken the principles that she just wrote in a note to me that I'm sure she
mm,
doesn't even know impacted my life so much. But
mm,
I've tried to take those into my leadership principles, and how I want to lead, not only in life as a
mm,
mother, but also how I want to lead my team. Because
mm,
I never want someone to feel as though they don't feel seen, they don't feel heard. And those little things and those little constant reminders that you see every day, every single day, you'll see a string, a button, and an eraser.
mm,
So just a little constant reminders. So that was just one thing that doesn't have to be the moment. It doesn't have to be this big monumental thing that happens.
mm.
But it was one small act of kindness that actually has stuck with me for such a long time. And it reminds me of your sunshine jars that you just shared. So
Oh,
funny, before we started talking about this, we talked about your sunshine jars that you share with everybody. And that just stands out to me so much.
I love that. Thank you for sharing that. I love
Yeah.
that idea because you're right. I think about, people that run, like I run and I do a race, and it's not really the race, it's all the hard things you go through to get
Hmm.
there. Shay, what do you think? What is something that maybe shifted your thinking or happened that you can share that really adjusted your perspective?
Yeah, for me, a big moment that comes to mind for me, a little bit different than Rachel's, but out of high school, I worked multiple part-time jobs. First time living on my own,
Mm,
just trying to figure out life as a young adult, right?
mm,
One of those part-time jobs was at a place called Scioto Valley. So there they sold high-end patio furniture, spas, pools, pool
mm,
tables, that type of stuff.
mm,
Um, so I was doing some front desk work as like a cashier. I was stocking shelves with the pool chemicals, that type of stuff. Um, Again, multiple jobs. my car that I had at the time, the transmission blew on it.
Oh man.
So I was having to get rides to and from work.
That's a lot.
Yep. I had, getting rides to and from work. My dad ended up fronting me the money to get the car fixed. Well, the owner of Scioto Valley actually caught wind just of everything that was going on. And he actually pulled me into his office one day and pretty much was just like, hey, I hear what's happening. I do see your drive. I see your dedication. I'm going to create a full-time junior sales position for you. Not only that, I'm going to front you the money to pay back your dad, so you don't have to worry about that, and we'll take it from there. So to this day, I love that, and it was my step into the world of sales recruiting 15 years ago.
Wow, that little act of kindness, it really makes a difference. You just never know. You never know how you can just change someone's day completely. It's just so important to keep that in mind. How do you find the strength? When things are going to happen, where does the strength come from to get up in the morning? Where does that come from? Is it something that you think that you've learned? Is it something that, I don't know, where does this come from? Where does the strength come from inside of each of you? Because you're strong ladies and I love it.
I'll go first on that one. So when I was going through my hard times in life, I actually kind of took a two-prong approach on things. And this was learned, mind you. So this took me a long time to really hit and sink in. I gave myself the space to feel every emotion that I felt, big or small. And it was knowing that was part A of everything. And then part B was I had to take action. So with A always had to come B, and I wasn't allowed to just dwell in A. So what I practically do today is if something happens, a roadblock happens, a hurdle happens, I'm frustrated, sad, mad, whatever it is, I go for a run. So Gina, you shared that a little bit earlier. I go for a run and I allow myself in that run, no matter how short or long it is, I feel those emotions. I talk myself through it. I work myself through however I feel. And then by the end of that run, and I take my shoes off, that is done and over with. And I have to have decided what is the action I'm going to take to move forward. I think if you can try to have some course of action of how do you work through things, that's really what can help get you through anything that you go through. I think everyone's different. I think that's not going to be the recipe that works for everybody. But if you can look at it as a two-pronged situation, is you've got to feel the feeling, and then two, just take action. And that biggest thing for everyone is going to be take action. I think that's what a lot of people just miss, is the action side of it. So that's my biggest.
It's so powerful. I read about it in my book about ruminating, and ruminating is something that, learning scientists and neuroscientists study a lot, and what that does and the chemicals it releases. So your practice is so positive because you may be thinking about it, but you let it go. You have to picture that stop sign. You have to have that visual and you have to picture it. Shea, what do you think? Is there something that you found or that you experienced to help you?
I would second Rachel on that. I'm a big believer in feeling those feelings, feeling those emotions, living in that moment, whether it's a true hurdle or a roadblock. If you're angry, you're sad, you're mad, you have to feel that and you have to live in that. And then the action comes. For me, a part of my action is I have sounding boards. So I have a lot of people that I know what my action is, right? For me to get into that action phase, I've just got to get it out. And I've got trusted, whether that's family members, close friends, coworkers. I'm blessed enough to have a little bit of all of that. So I just have to get it out, have someone listen to me, give me some advice, talk me down a little bit. And then it's okay. Tomorrow's going to be better.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yes. Community is so important. I talk about this all the time with Luma. People think content changes lives. It's not content, it's connection. And part of that connection is building community within that, whatever you're trying to portray or the message, because we can change people's lives with each other. I started this podcast. It's going to be 4 years. I can't even believe it, but Yes, and
Wow.
one of the reasons I keep doing it, and I told you guys this before we came on, is that, I have drivers and all sorts of people saying, like, this is helping, like getting these strategies of how to, because people don't talk about it. I'm in the suicide push-up challenge this month, and 1 in 4, this is insane. 1 in 4 Australians from Lifeline are saying that they're lonely. I know the Surgeon General said in 2023 that 1 in 3. I mean, there's these staggering statistics of people who are struggling with loneliness that aren't talking about it, especially men. I mean, it's like a lot of people struggle in silence. And so I wanted to ask you both, if someone is listening today and something has happened in their life, unexpected, and they don't know how they're going to move forward tomorrow, what piece of advice, knowing what you've all gone through in those moments, that's going to help that person want to step forward another day? What could they do? I have mental health lines posted on my LinkedIn from all this week for children and adults alike, of where they can reach if it's an emergency. But practically speaking, if they don't want to call a helpline, what would you recommend?
Yeah, I'll start with that one. I think for me, what helped me through the darkest time, and I can say I relate to a lot of those feelings that you just shared, at some point in my life. It was having truly the support system around you, but it was just really trying to find one person. I needed to find someone that was actually not in my closest circle and not in my inner circle. For me, that was my soccer coach. And he was the one that told me, truly, we did a fitness test, and he did these 2-3 times a year. And it was, he, at the end of this fitness test, he was like, you have like super strength right now, you feel nothing because you are so numb. And he told me I was not allowed to return back to soccer until I went and got help. And it took someone that I didn't think I cared as much about to really sit down and tell me, go get the help you need. And that was hard. That was very, very, very hard for me to actually say, okay, I'm gonna go. But I cared more about soccer than what I was like, okay. But I think trying to find somebody, and it doesn't have to be a professional, just go talk to somebody. Go find someone. And again, tell them how you're feeling. They might not know how to help. And, as a listener of that person, I think that's another big thing. There's a lot of us on here that might be listening. You might not know what to say, and that's okay. And you don't have to. You don't have to say, I'm sorry. I think that's what I've always been confronted with, is that everyone wants to say, I'm sorry. I don't need to hear that. I think it's actually, just tell me you're here. Hold my hand, comfort me, right? It's you're going to go through ups and downs. But I think for people that are struggling today, just go find somebody or something that you can pour your passion into. Drawing, running, find an activity you like. Go find something else that can establish a sense of community and establish a sense of belonging. Because that's what really helped me through a lot of my struggles.
I love that.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Shea, what do you think?
I would agree with that. I think there are so many resources out there. And for those that maybe don't feel as comfortable, calling the hotlines or, reaching out to those different resources, find someone who, again, no one's going to have the right answer. No one's going to be able to fix it for you. But a lot of times you need someone to just hear you, I think is really what it comes down to. Be heard, be acknowledged. And then once you're able to start getting those feelings out, then maybe it'll click at that, okay, now I know next step, next action, right, is I'm going to do this.
Right. And I always say this for people on the other end that are listening, like Rachel said, they're trying to come up with the words and there are no words. There's no words in that moment. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll share an article. This week I shared an article on grief. I studied the neuroscience behind the chemicals that happen during grief, and everyone grieves differently because our chemicals in our brains are different, right? And so we can't anticipate that we're going to know. We won't know what somebody needs, but just being present. And that's the thing. It's one of the things I'm really passionate. I talk a lot about is presence. Like
Yeah.
we're fully present together right now. We're not looking at our phones. We're not on email. We're here together today. Experience is a small moment that will stick with us. It's so powerful. And I think that is one of the small moments we can give, not only to ourselves, being present with your own mind, but with each other. It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. Last week, I actually had someone, it was 2 weeks ago. Kate was on. Do you guys know Kate? She's part of the ATA Women in Motion group. She's amazing. If you don't know her, connect with her. She's a women celebrator. She wanted to know what it really takes to build a community in a workplace so your team really loves what they do. And I know Forward Air is so beautiful. So what do you guys think about that? I love her question.
I love this question myself, just because I am so passionate about building culture and a sense of community. And I think I can speak to Shea and myself. I've been here for 10. Shay's been here for 8 years. We've seen so much change in the last 10 and 8 years. So a lot of that has dealt with actually the sense of community and culture here. So I would first start off by saying, I think a lot of that has to do with when you can build the sense of belonging and that people really do matter and they're part of something bigger. I think
Yes.
that is easier said than done a little bit. But to me, that all starts at one principle. That's trust. Trust is 100% earned. It is not given. Other might have different perspectives on that, but I do think it's earned. I think that if you know that there is a leader that you have that genuinely cares about you as a person, you have teammates that genuinely care about you as a person, you're going to see not only just a person grow and flourish and be so present, but you're also going to see results, right? We're all a business. And at the end of the day, you need to have results. But again, I think when people feel seen and they feel heard and they're valued, it's going to have engagement naturally follow that. I think of then kind of backtracking to like purpose, but how do you do that, right? So break down to, we can say all these great buzzwords and we can do that, but how? Celebrate wins. It doesn't matter if they're big. It doesn't matter if they're small. Check in on people, right? It's not just about projects. It's not just about deliverables. It's not just about KPIs. It's about you. Are you okay, right? You asked about people's mental health and are they okay? Ask, right? You don't know if you don't ask. Recognize effort necessarily and not just outcomes. We said that before too. I think as well, like I think of Shea a lot. Shay's grown a ton in 8 years here. And I think
shout out for Shea.
Shout out to Shea. I think if you can create opportunity for growth and development as well within the group, you will also create this sense of community because people see that others are growing and developing. And that also establishes collaboration within the group. And if you can do that, and it's not just competition, you're going to have something that thrives. So make people feel seen, make them feel safe to share ideas and to ask questions and to make mistakes. Because I'm not perfect. Shay's not perfect. We're going to make mistakes. So when we do make mistakes, make it a safe space to be able to say, hey, I messed up. And it's okay. This is how we're going to get over it. And we're going to get through it together. So I think at the end of the day, building a sense of community, it sounds simple, but it's really not that easy. And it's kind of a very long pronged process. But I would challenge everybody, put your people first. And I say that as a person who loves putting people first and think that that's number one in leadership. But, you know, put people first, create meaningful connections and make sure that everyone feels as though they belong.
I love that. I love it so much because honestly, it does. It matters. It matters. So I'm writing a learning science article on trust. One of the biggest pillars to build trust and teamwork is having vulnerability. And it's everyone on a team showing that up from the top leader down to whoever's on the team, you know, and I always tell my team this, like nobody comes to work and says, I want to screw up today. Like no one shows up to work and says, I'm going to make a mistake today. You know, everyone is trying to do their very best job. And you know what? Maybe they're dealing with something. Maybe they left in the morning and they had a fight with a spouse, or maybe they're taking care of their mom that is struggling with dementia. Or maybe we could list 100 things. There could be distractions which impact your thinking and your memory and your attention. Just give compassion and be vulnerable. Say, you know what? I'm not okay today, but I'm here. I'm here and I'm showing up, and it matters. It matters.
It matters.
It does matter. So I love that. Well, we need to ask our guest next week, you all, I could talk to you all day. We've been on. So what should we ask Brian? Brian Brent, he is a driver for CPC Logistics and another amazing organization, you all. So what should we ask Brian? Now he's a driver. So what should we ask him?
So Shea and I tag team this one.
Yeah.
And we thought about this beforehand because we've been thinking about it. So we came up with a question. How do you push yourself outside of your comfort zone, knowing that he's a driver? So how do you push yourself outside of your comfort zone to be successful in the landscape that we are in today? Because it's been a very challenging market. And I think as we're kind of going through a new cycle, I kind of see the cycle shifting right now. So how does he push himself to continue to be successful and outside of his comfort zone?
All right, you guys got to tune in and see what he says. We have to listen. We have to see what Brian says. We can't wait to have him. All right, you all. So as we leave this Friday Junior, you all, what should we tell everyone? What word of advice do you want to leave people to put in their pocket? And where can they, is there any particular place you want them to connect with you? I have your LinkedIn, but if there's anywhere else, if you want to give any information about Forward Air or where they can connect with you, definitely share that.
Yeah, Shea, you want to go? You go first.
Okay. Yep. LinkedIn, obviously, as far as connection for me. A word of advice. For me, small moments mean everything. It's Rachel and I talk about this a lot. It's not the next mile that we have ahead of us, one step at a time, one baby step at a time. So today may be rough. Sit in that, feel that. Tomorrow is going to be better. It's baby steps, little steps at a time.
Yes.
Yep. LinkedIn, it would be a great place to connect for me. I would say something very similar. Small actions build momentum, and I think momentum creates confidence. So if you feel as though you can't do a small act of kindness, like the little notes or something like that, it just takes saying hello. Again, small moments of encouragement, some small choice that you make in the day. You're building your life today that is going to be your better tomorrow. So keep showing up for yourself and keep learning and growing. And at the end of the day, you deserve it. So keep pushing yourself.
I love that. You all keep learning. It's the seed of life. When you stop learning, you stop living, you stop growing. And so let's do that. So this upcoming week, just try one small thing. Our team is having an internal health and wellness challenge this week, and everyone had to try something new, or something they haven't done before, or something they haven't done in a while. So take that challenge on and show up for each other, because nothing is guaranteed but this moment today. So thank you both for joining. Until next time,
thank you.
We'll see you.
Thank you.